I got an interesting news story here from The Hill. You guys will like this one. Disney screenwriter says the term anti-vax is equivalent to N-word. An Oscar-nominated screenwriter behind Disney's blockbusters like Aladdin and Pirates of the Caribbean series is facing backlash online after using the N-word in a tweet arguing against vaccines. Terry Rossio, I believe that's how you pronounce that, argued on Twitter on Thursday that it was offensive to use the term anti-vax when referencing those who use against the use of vaccines. My heart goes out to all the parents of vaccine-damaged children who have to not only endure the sadness of their loss, but also the vitriol of ill-informed and insensitive people such as those here. He wrote, anti-vax is the equivalent of calling someone that word and makes as little sense. He was responding to a now-deleted tweet which read that anti-vaxxers made my teeth grind. Rossio was then questioned by Julie Benson, a writer for the 100 television show, asking for scientific research to support Rossio's point of view. Do you realize that the same collectivist stereotyping lies behind belittling any group with a label? Rossio fired back. Do you have no feelings for vaccine-damaged kids and parents? The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said that studies have found no link between vaccines and autism. The health organization also insists that the benefits of vaccination, such as the decline of serious diseases like polio, outweigh any risk. Now, I got to dig into this one a little bit because, well, first, let's go with the anti-vaxxers. I have very strong opinions about anti-vaxxers because they're just, this guy is accusing non-anti-vaxxers of being ill-informed and not knowing what they're talking about, when all of medical science, all of it, says there is no link between autism and vaccines. None. I see these posters, these graphics online, these anti-vax propaganda posters of like little babies with like these needles shoved into their heads and this disease spreading throughout. No vaccines, it's poisoning your children. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I know that there are some people out there who've had their children tragically get autism. But why do you think it was the vaccine that did that? Some kids just get autism. It just happens. Nothing causes it. There's no shot that you can give someone that's going to cause them to have autism. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do that will cause that. And I know they get a vaccine and then later it turns out they have autism. And these anti-vaxxers are sitting there going, well, even though all of the doctors and all of medical science and all of reality in the world says that, vaccines didn't cause this autism, my gut says that it did. And these are the people who are calling us ill-informed. I wouldn't be I'd mainly just laugh at them, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that some vaccines you can't give kids until they're a certain age. These people are sending their kids to school full well knowing that they could be carriers of measles or polio or some deadly disease that some other kids could get. And personally, I think that when and if that happens, that should be considered along the same lines as biological warfare. The parents should go to jail for that. They should go to jail instantly. The kids should get vaccinated, whether or not the parents want them to, because that's just a matter of public safety and public health. Now, I got to say this about this particular guy, because there is this certain brand of retardation that I've noticed pop up in the last 2 years, 3 years maybe. It was during when the whole Trump thing was going over and everybody was, all the adult toddlers out there were losing their damn minds. And it still goes on now. And that is this complete unwillingness to hear what someone says. And he's done it right here. He's done it down here in his tweet where he was bemoaning the, do you have no feelings for vaccine damaged kids and parents? Well, the woman just asked you to prove that vaccines cause, scientifically, that vaccines cause autism. And he couldn't do it, obviously, because there's no way you can prove that because it's not the truth. But he did this thing that I see more and more where it goes one ear at the other. And they use this kind of complete and total ignorance to what you just said to spin it around and try and make you look like a monster. And it happens all the time. I've seen it happen with pretty much every SJW talking point with Nazis. It happens with, for instance, if they go, that person is a Nazi, and you go, no, that person is not a Nazi, they'll turn around and say, how can you defend Nazis? I'm defending somebody who's not a Nazi. That's the whole point. That's like if you pointed at somebody and said, that guy's a murderer. And I said, no, actually, he's never killed anybody. And they said, how can you support murder? In one ear, out the other. They're not even listening. They refuse to accept any new idea, especially if that idea, contains the idea, that they could be wrong about something. They're just going to let that float through their head, bounce around in their empty brain, connect with maybe the one or two neurons they have, and then get the fuck out of the other ear, and they're not even going to hear it. And he's done the same thing here. And that's something that I've gotten rather tired of. That's something that needs to be stopped because it's just stupid. I mean, it's just another excuse for people to be called monsters, mainly because you just didn't even recognize or understand. You couldn't comprehend what they said. There's so many people out there right now who've never been told that they're wrong about something, that they can't comprehend it. If they've got their mind made up about something and you say, actually, you're wrong, that's not true, it doesn't register. It doesn't register. And they'll just turn around and say, well, how could you support this thing that I obviously still believe? It's like, wait, I just told you that that's not true. And you're like, well, but it's true. And, even if you can prove that it's not true, nope, it's true. Facts be damned. Doctors, screw the doctors, screw medical science, all that be damned. I know it's true. That's really an infuriating thing that's been happening lately that I've wanted to get off my chest. I do hope that trend stops soon because honestly, it's just making the planet dumber every time somebody does that. Anyway, guys, as I said before, there's not going to be any news for the rest of this week until next week because I'm going to be out of the country doing some programming for Comic-Con in Dortmund, Germany. And so I will come back and I will read the news after I get back. Hopefully nothing falls apart while I'm gone, and I'll let you know how things went over there. So guys, have a good week. Have a good weekend. And I will see you here in several days, probably maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll start up with the news again. So, yep, see you then, guys, and have a great weekend.